Hi, I'm Allison Gilbert, and I'm the CEO of Adaptation. Welcome to the Blue Prism Global Partner Forum, a digital workforce for every enterprise. I want to thank Blue Prism for inviting me here to speak to you today and also to be able to continue with this forum as scheduled. We are in the United States in New Jersey, and we've been at a stay-at-home directive for the past 3 months. So it's really nice to be able to connect and to also stay safe while we're connecting. I want to thank all of you attendees who are also very willing to do something a little bit different, to have this forum as a webcast, as we're doing today. Today I'm going to discuss the organizational impact on people in the new world of work. Adaptation is not a technology implementer. So you might be wondering, why are you here to speak to us about people and the new world of work? The reason is we believe that there are other opportunities that you might be able to land with your clients. Thinking bigger and using a digital workforce, but understanding how that impacts their entire enterprise. People really drive business. And things like changes to the organization structures and understanding roles and responsibilities and making sure that people are comfortable with automation and the impact on their jobs is really bigger pieces of automation. And I'd like to be able to discuss that with you today. Here's a short video that we've put together, and the importance of it is that people understand that technology is good. They use it every day in their daily lives. For companies, we're trying to also make sure they realize that people are critical to the success of any implementation.
Technology, artificial intelligence, new jobs, new skills, they're inevitable. But fear doesn't have to be. Yes, change is coming, and it can be scary. Employees feel powerless, disposable, defeated before the change even starts. If your company is going to succeed, you can't just expect them to follow orders. You're going to have to connect with them, help them change their mindset before things come to a screeching halt. And that is where adaptation comes in. What if technology were viewed as a tool that increases jobs, requiring people talent to create, think, and assign meaning? As an opportunity rather than a threat, a doorway to a new world. Every day, we use technology to make our lives easier, more fulfilling, and leave the mundane to the machines. We can do the same at work if we're willing to shift there as well. Imagine employees who engage early on and are part of shaping what comes next, feeling valued, their concerns addressed, and their contributions recognized. Leaders who look beyond spreadsheets, are in tune with people's needs, and savvy enough to address them. Envision your company with a true focus on people and how they can be integral to your goals and growth. Adaptation can bring that to life. Adaptation works with Fortune 500 and government clients across a range of industries, supporting them in tapping into unforeseen opportunities, developing strategies for engagement, inclusion, and open communication, and embracing technology as a springboard to new possibilities. They've benefited from our approach, and if you're looking to successfully navigate change, you probably could too. Adaptation, rethinking change at work.
So let's start by understanding, what do we mean by the new world of work? The convergence of technologies has changed everything. It's changed the way businesses operate. It's changed how they look to the future, because the rules of the future are not based on the rules of the past. I'd like to just talk about a couple of these technologies. I know that you're familiar with many, but in particular, mobile technologies. That has already changed where and how we work. In fact, here, because of COVID, more and more companies are saying to their employees, don't worry, you don't have to come back to work. This productivity is up, so we might do this remote work for a while. They're also rethinking some of their lease space. May not have to spend as much money on leasing because people are content with working from home. The other is analytics. Analytics are driving decision making. We see patterns, we see trends, we see associations, and we can understand and even potentially predict human behavior and interactions. RPA and artificial intelligence are really redefining the kind of work that humans do, and also beginning to have companies think about establishing a digital workforce as part of their normal business operations. The other piece of this is thinking about the organization and how you're going to use your people and staff, and actually your talent ecosystem is what we'd prefer to call it, in the new world of work. Changes to behavior and organization structures really need to begin to occur, some by force, like COVID and the force to remain home and work from home, and others just a new way of organizing people, work, and talent. So now that we're talking about the new world of work, let's talk about how we can help our clients prepare. First and foremost is to provide some sort of education about what the new world of work is and what different technologies are and what they can do for them. When you talk about robotics or artificial intelligence or optical character recognition, you'd be surprised at the confusion that many clients have. In fact, we had a client who was in charge of business process, and when I mentioned robotics, he wasn't sure exactly what that was. I think in his mind, he was thinking about a little robot running around the building, which of course is not the case. So I think educating your client staff is most important. Secondly, I think that it would be very helpful if you could help them understand the effect of these technologies on their business. What does shifting to digital technologies mean for them? Not necessarily only in terms of cost savings, but in terms of value. How does it affect their talent, or how can they prepare their talent for the future with potentially new roles, new job descriptions, and new activities to do on a daily basis? What new delivery methods for products and or services should they be considering? How can we rethink the organization structures to make it supportive of a digital environment? Lastly, have them understand the effect on people. There's generally a misunderstanding of how people and robots can work together. It's not primarily a technology play. Robotics and automation is the tool. Really, all of the initiatives for automation should be driven by the business. I think it's very important to raise awareness so that all the clients do understand that their new role is to help support and determine talent requirements in technology. Okay, so what can you do to drive the new world of work for your clients? First is to think strategically for them. Move the thinking from the technical implementation of a function or a transaction to more enterprise-wide strategic value, rather than even cost savings. Also begin to layer analytics, both tactical analytics as well as strategic, or maybe even more predictive analytics. Begin to eliminate boundaries in thinking about processes, organization, roles, and jobs. That might include looking at a total talent ecosystems that includes digital workers, as well as vendors, staff, contractors. Let's talk about how we can use analytics to be able to define some tactical activities that you can do with your clients, and also be able to provide some insight about what type of strategic items you might be able to suggest to your clients. Shown here is a sample expense report audit process. As you can see, a staff member would submit their expense report, and based on different criteria, the expense report would either be accepted or require additional information, be rejected, require additional approvals. All of these things are part of a normal operational process for expense report audit. But what if you work with your clients to define metrics to uncover more about what is happening in the broader organization? What percentage of expense reports are rejected and why? Which locations have the highest rejection rate? Does this company use preferred vendors for hotels, car rentals, etc. in their company policy? Who are the people who are consistently non-compliant with company policy? These answers may lead you towards other questions to help you determine tactical projects and automation. The results of these metrics really can help us understand more of the questions that we should be asking our clients. It also has impacts on the organization that you should be aware of and may be able to help your client with to improve performance and also improve the organizational effectiveness. Some of the tactical questions that we can ask as a result of those metrics are, can we reduce the human review of expense reports by adding a digital worker? Can we use a digital worker to notify employees of rejections, notify the employees that they need additional approvals or more information? Are special reinforcement and education needed at different locations or by role? Can a digital worker be added to reduce noncompliance and drive changes in behaviors? And can a digital worker be added to manage abrupt change required in policies like COVID? For instance, one of our clients used a digital worker to be able to track the spend for personal PC and IT equipment that was needed in order to be able to work remotely. Let's go back and take the example of whether a company uses preferred vendors for hotels or for car rentals. If you end up finding out the total spend with particular vendors, perhaps you can help procurement be able to understand the spend and also help them understand how they can renegotiate contracts to get the most preferential rate. You can also help finance better forecast expenses in different spend categories if you can use a digital worker to accumulate and compile all of the related data. You can also help HR identify perpetual staff offenders and potentially identify fraud. So now I'd like to go through an example of how you can use predictive analytics to be able to drive strategy. I'd like to introduce you to a company called Fathom. They're based in Australia, and they are also Blue Prism partner. They have a unique SaaS platform that can provide insight to help you and your clients think strategically about the impact of technology like robotics and AI. Using proprietary algorithms combined with the client's data, Fathom can provide workforce predictions and strategic insights to help show how technologies will impact jobs, the workforce, the company, the organization. This can help executives prepare strategically and answer 3 important questions. Which emerging technologies will have the biggest impact on the business? How will this impact manifest itself across my workforce? And how can you recreate skilling pathways for the workforce of the future? For the next example, we used Fathom's predictive analytics software to be able to understand what the impact of technologies can be on an organization. There are a series of technologies that can be selected, but we selected process automation and artificial intelligence as our 2 technologies that we wanted to layer against a client's data. A UK fictional bank's census data was used, and really the data was only a relatively small amount that is from the HR management system, like a Workday or SuccessFactors. Some of the data used includes role name, job description, geographic location of an employee, an organization unit, and the age and gender of an employee. Let's look more closely at what these predictive analytics show us. On the top left of the chart, you can see that the key technology type that will have the greatest impact on the business is process automation. The organization unit that is most affected is retail banking, which is our bank tellers. There is also a greater impact on female rather than male workers. There is the equivalent of 3,100 or 11.4% of the workforce that can be automated using process automation. With the usage of augmentation or digital workers, there's almost a 3% capacity gain or efficiency improvement. Finally, there is a need for adding approximately 738 new technology jobs and roles. Now, drilling a little deeper and looking at process automation's impact on jobs, you can see that by far the most impacted job is the bank teller, followed by many other roles that you can see are significantly less impacted. So what does this mean for the organization? What types of things should we be thinking about to help our clients? First, strategically, automation of the bank teller function could be a competitive advantage for a company. Or if it's not done, it could actually be a disadvantage in the banking industry. We can see then know that changes to the bank teller function will have a significant impact on the entire people organization and how they're structured in the organizational model. We need to ask if the organization is prepared to introduce a digital workforce in the bank teller function, or understand which pieces of the function can be automated using a digital worker. Also, with regards to the numbers of women impacted versus men, how important is a diverse workforce to the organization? And do they need to implement steps to ensure diversity in their workforce? So now let's look towards the future and the new roles required in the new world of work. In the original key impact slide, you saw that there were over 700 new roles that may be required in the new world. So what does this mean for the organization? And what types of questions should we be thinking about for strategic implications? First, we can see that software development and analysis are the key roles that will be needed for the future. So is the organization prepared to reskill its people? What type of training might be needed, or what type of new recruiting tactics might be required? How should the organization prepare to add these new skills? Should the organization consider restructuring their business units to accommodate new positions and a new organizational model? How can we help the organization rethink its concept about what is talent, so that includes digital workers as part of the talent ecosystem? I hope these examples give you a better sense of how you can help your clients think about metrics, analytics for the current data, as well as how they can use predictive analytics to prepare for their future of work. So what can you do if your customer seems stalled on a process automation project? First is to be sure that there's a clear understanding that to maximize the efficiency of robotics, the program really needs to be driven by the business. Technology is the tool. This program or project is not a technology play. It's all about the business. Second, think about how you can layer analytics with automation to share insights about the business and help them understand what their own data can reveal. Identify the effects on people and determine if the company has considered the organization and people impacts of the process automation program. Acknowledge that there's a lot going on for workers in the current staff, and adding this to their workload is also very complicated. The companies need to consider the digital work as an investment. Don't let them get frustrated and give up. Find underutilized staff to be able to help contribute their time and insights on areas that could benefit from automation. And remember that process automation is not only about lowering costs, it's about adding value. And you can do that by providing information on metrics and analytics and asking the right questions to your customer. In conclusion, I'd like to leave you with 5 things to remember as you are continuing to help clients with process automation and artificial intelligence. Education and awareness about technologies that are here and how these will affect a client's business as well as their competitor's business is important for your clients to understand. A new definition of talent that includes digital workers is an important concept for clients to embrace. Think about using analytics that can address tactical as well as strategic decisions. Remember and help your clients start somewhere. The future will not replicate the past, so there has to be new ways of thinking that you can also provide. Try to accomplish small wins, but think strategically to help define the new world of work. I hope that you found this discussion helpful in thinking about different ways to engage with your clients. Thanks for joining, and please stay safe.